down. What's going on, Jacob? How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, cool, man. Welcome to one of these nice Zoom lessons. And it sounded like you were warming up there. We had a progression going on our E Gypsy Minor. What a fantastic scale! God, look at that. That's going to be basically... How am I always doing that so silly? That's going to be basically like what? Since we have a chord progression, we could start right here. And pretty fancy. E, F sharp, and G. We got the B flat. Well, we should call it A sharp. So like that's how that works. We got E, F sharp, G, A sharp, B. Then we got the C, and D sharp, or yeah, D sharp, E. Quite a bit of sharps in there. So we're going to concentrate on playing that scale. Very good, awesome. And then also a big part of the target today is just learning, when we first learned it, we learned it here. Would have probably been a good idea to start with my middle finger. Always going for the most efficient way to do this. So, learning some chords. Let's talk about some possibilities of some chords. That's a pretty exotic sounding scale. How to build the chord. Now, if you don't mind, man, play the scale for me down low, and we'll talk about the intervals, like how to find the minor 3 and the 5 or the flat 5, and it should be a minor chord or should be a dominant chord or should be a diminished chord. Let's discuss that. But would you mind playing the scale for us? Yeah.
I got it. I messed up.
That's all right. Very good. So the way that we're going to talk about this is here E will be 1, F sharp is 2, and G is our third. So we're trying to find our third. So E is 1. It looks like we found our third. Now when we keep climbing, we have this A sharp. That's going to be a sharp 4. Now it looks like we can use that sharp 4, but since it's not a flat 5, because see, this is what's interesting about the semantics here. Since it's a 1, minor 3, and this is a sharp 4, then we have a 5. We have essentially and semantically located our 1, 3, 5. And it's a nice E minor. So this would be an excellent 1 chord. Now let's find our 1, 3, our 3. So this is kind of a funny way to say this. Here's our 2. F sharp is our 2. Let's find the 3rd and the 5th. And the possible 7, because if we get into dominant chords, that's where we have 4 notes to work with. So, if we start here, Jacob, play the rest of the scale and find me a 3rd. And it's okay if you're wrong.
Play the rest of the scale.
Yeah, do you feel comfortable identifying, maybe calling it by the name? F sharp,
E,
G.
F sharp, E, F sharp, G,
So
A
you have,
sharp.
good. So how about if we're here, if this is our 2,
Yep.
how do we find the 3rd of this note?
We go 1, 2, 3.
Very
This
good. Very good. And that's our A sharp. So now, so far, we have this for our 2 chord. Right?
Yep.
Now take us one step further, dude. This is where we're going to get into some pretty murky territories now. What happens next? If we there's an F sharp, here's G, here's our A sharp. It looks like B is a part of it, so that's our 4. We don't want him. Now we got that C. This C is going to be a flat 5. Now we can either lean on the major 3rd or we can lean on this flat 5. And if like, that's where it gets a little interesting because what's the next note, Jacob? The D sharp. So that's actually going to be called, yeah, so we have a couple different arpeggios to hit here. F sharp, the A sharp, and the D sharp. Or you can hit the F sharp, C, and D sharp. So anyhow, let's spend too much time. Basically what happens here, that almost sounds like a Pantera song doing some arpeggios. But basically this is a technical kind of idea, but we can spend time and focusing on this because this gives us some experience on how to find the right chord here. Now, the way that we can do is that we found the third, and then, now right there, that right there is an F sharp 7. So this, E minor with F sharp 7. Now there are a lot of different F sharp 7 chords you can play. That's using the like the more dominant style fifth, you got the power chord. But I also found very, very cool to use this F sharp 7. It's a little bit more of a jazzier selection, and you got the 1, you skip over there, there's your minor 7, there's your 5, you put your 5 in the back of the bus, and then your pinky is the major third. So that might have been like a long walk, but eventually after the guitar player goes up and down the scale enough, you can start acquiring the 3s and 5s of each chord. That's where it becomes something really, really unusual, and not unusual as in cool, and it helps you build the chord progression. So if I wanted to play a 1, 2, 3 chord progression, this would be the 1. Here's our 2. And then when we go to our 3, now I actually detected those 3 notes in a row, and this is going to be G augmented. So this is the 1, this is your 3, and here's your sharp 5. So we are getting a 5 in there. It's not the G chord, because the sharp 5 is what makes that. So it's like 2 different levels of alignment processing. Going up, you go up an interval, and then you have to propagate the 3rd and the 5th or the 7. Sometimes the 7 shows up, and then you put the 5th in the back. So yeah, it's geometrically disturbing, but quite exhilarating once you get it down. It takes a while, and let it take a while. It's just about your instrument. And as far as this goes, let's loop in the chord progression, and then I would like to hear you improvise a little bit. So I'm going to just go ahead in there, and I've never done this one, but I'm going to go ahead and just... Uh-oh, I made my mistake. So just those 2 chords right there would have sounded fine. The 1, 2, 1. And have some fun, man. Maybe start on the 7th fret. Yeah, it sounds like Dracula. you think of that, man?
That was perfect.
You thought it was perfect. Well, that's a great thing to say. Excellent attitude. That's what we want here, Mr. Guitar Lessons. Learn these exotic scales, maybe a simple chord progression. I mean, that's maybe where we'll continue our efforts, dude. Let's examine the rest of the chords. And we'll do that next time.
Sure.
All right, dude. I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson. Thank you so much for being a part of this on the Zoom lesson sessions. I'm going to go ahead and put that chord progression down. And why don't you serenade yourself, and we'll do it next time.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Yeah, do a little improvising. Very nice. Right on, Jake. See you next time, bud.